Hi, and today I'm going to be talking about postpartum as a minimalist and how I organize everything and how I did it with baby number three. My third child is now 4 months old, and this is my third home birth, second free birth, and we have learned so much in the process. We have lived in a different house with each one, so each setup is a little bit different. But this one definitely went the most smoothly of any of them. And I think that was due to learning from our mistakes previously and planning ahead. So here's what I have got in store for you. First off, the pad system is really important. So directly after birth and for I'd say the next, 5 or 6 weeks, there kind of is a range that I end up doing, and I might tweak this a little bit in the future if we have another child. I use Chex pads and I do what is called free bleeding the first few days, where you just don't do anything and you just lay on the pad or a towel. And I do lay towels and pads, the Chex pads, along the floor. So if I'm walking to the bathroom or something, then I can not get anything on the carpet. We've had carpet in the last two bathrooms that we've had in our house, so we avoided that. And as a fun tip, if you do have any blood that gets on the floor during a birth, for a home birth or postpartum, club soda is the best, easiest, non-toxic option to get that out. But I use, in the first few days, the Chex pads around and on the bed, and then I use blankets and stuff to cover myself in the bed that are red or I don't care about. And this time I didn't even do that as much. And if you have anything that gets on them, it can come out if you wash it with cold water in the washing machine. And then after a few days, when I start using pads, I will use maybe one pack at night of the organic, non-pesticide maxi pad things that are huge. And I have previously used the mesh underwear to hold these on. I don't love that, so I just use old underwear that I don't really care about. I save that up for postpartum when I'm having a baby, and that way it's super comfortable. It goes over your stomach, and I know people with C-sections sometimes prefer that, but I'm just going to speak from my experience and what worked for me. Then I move on to cloth pads, and that is something I use, rinse in cold water, and then throw in the washing machine. And then at the end of the postpartum period, I sanitize them pretty deeply by boiling them in an acid water it has lemon juice in it. So that has worked really well. I've done that for the last few births, and I feel like that's the safest, cleanest option. I have a lot of them. You can buy them on Etsy. You can buy them, I think, most places now. They're pretty prevalent. They didn't used to be. Next up, I have food and freezer meals specifically. So my husband is not a cook, but he will make eggs and bacon. That is the one thing he'll make after a birth. And that, which I'm so thankful for, normally that's great tasting eggs and bacon. But this time we took it really seriously because I wanted to take postpartum more slowly and not get back on my feet like I have previously in day 3 or 4 to make food and dinner. And so we had people gift us freezer meals. I stocked up freezer meals, and the one thing I would change in this regard next time is I would make them more organized in the freezer, because he wasn't quite sure what each thing was, how long he had to heat it up, so he would ask me. And I think to just rid the mom of that stress of having to manage that situation would be best in that time. But other than that, it worked out really well. We probably had 2 weeks of freezer meals entirely for every meal. And I can speak more specifically about this, but for breakfast, we had frozen pancakes, we had frozen muffins, we had breakfast burritos. And so everything was super quick and easy to heat up. And that made it really easy for him to just manage. Next up, I have muslin blankets and breast pads. So these are just kind of to catch the milk, especially in the first few days when it comes in, from days 3 to 7, when it's just engorgement can occur. And then also, again, I'd say within the first 3 to 6 months when milk hasn't been regulated yet. I always just keep these muslin blankets scattered around my house, and I do them at different points, on our couch right here where I feed the baby, in the playroom, one in my bed with the baby, and then maybe like one in the car, and then one in my bag somewhere. So, and then everybody in the family knows where they are. So if I need one, I say, can you grab that blanket that's over there? If I just start milking everywhere. So that is helpful. And the breast pads, I kind of do the same. And then I use the bamboonies, the reusable ones, and I've had those since my first birth. So those have been great. And you just throw them in the washing machine at the end of the day, and it's super easy. Next up, I would say the idea of perches is really important during postpartum. Like, think of a bird and you're perched up. So I was mentioning that where like the couch is one area, our bed is one area, and the rocking chair is one area. And I even consider the car kind of one area, because once you're freshly postpartum and kind of integrating back into life, these are all areas that you need, I'd say, like one of the basics in each area. So I would say, a blanket, like a Muslim blanket. So if you're leaking or for the baby or spitting up or whatever, diapers and wipes, water bottle, maybe a snack, and anything else that you would consider like absolutely essential in this category, but things that you can have multiples of. So these wouldn't be like your roving things, like if you wanted your phone or your headphones. These are things that you would stock in each area, and that way you don't have to go running from room to room. Or if you're feeding the baby in one area, you don't have to get up and leave the room or have somebody go get something for you in another room, when you can just have everything in specific spots around your house and where you'll be frequenting. Then we have a peri bottle, and I don't consider this absolutely essential, but it is useful within the first few days postpartum. And you can use this to just kind of spray instead of wiping, and for peeing. So if you have a tear, a lot of times the acidic nature of the pee will sting. So if you wash it with warm water while you're peeing, it can counteract that. And then when you're pooping, it's just relieving the muscles and everything that have been stretched out from the birth. So I do think it's essential within the first few days, probably the first week, around there, 2 weeks. Some people like it. Some people end up just getting a bidet afterwards, which I totally understand and have thought about many times. But the next three things are just kind of fun or helpful things that can be added on. They're not must-haves, but they might be for some people. One of those is a treasure chest for kids. If you have older kids and this is not your first birth, then it's really kind of a fun thing to just put, like, it could be dollar store toys, it can be toys that you've had for them, games, art supplies, anything you can think of, activities, and put it all in a bag. And each day they get to pick out one thing, and they pick it out, and then that's their fun treasure chest item for the day. And like, from my experience, they become obsessed with it for the day, and not often anything past that. And that's all you need when you kind of need them to be preoccupied with something. You don't want to just keep putting movies on. So that's what's really successful in our experience. I also think good books are a great thing to have, because when you're postpartum, there is a lot of downtime if you're sitting in the bed and you don't necessarily want to sleep all the time because the baby is sleeping. I don't like to be on my phone when the baby's eating, but when the baby's sleeping and I don't want to sleep or rest, or I'm not handling something somewhere else, there is some more downtime than usual. So I think having good books is great. Otherwise, I will personally end up watching way too much TV. So that's when I kind of stock up on things I need to finish reading, want to read, and it's kind of a nice leisure time if you can make it that. And next we have a streamlined laundry system. So this is something that will make everyone's life easier. So everyone in our house, I try to do a load of laundry a day or every other day. When it's postpartum, it's every day, because we are going through so many clothes, so many things, and really the baby in the first few days isn't wearing a ton of stuff, neither am I. Everybody's kind of just running around crazy and naked and soaking it all up. But a lot of towels, sometimes there's sheets, there's things from the birth that need to be washed. So everybody knows that 1 to 2 loads of laundry in the first few days is happening, and just keep it as a revolving door. And the best system we have is to my husband will do the laundry out in the laundry room and then bring me the laundry that's dried in the bed. I don't normally fold the laundry, but I sort it for the family members and then put it away. So that was kind of my role, and I could take that burden off of him and situate that in the meantime. But these are kind of my postpartum essentials, tips, tricks, things that have worked for me now that we've had baby number 3. And there's not a lot I would change about this system now moving forward, but I did let you know on the freezer meals I would keep a little bit better organized. And then I would probably, I would consider getting some of those like Thinks underwear next time, or some whatever brand they have at the time. So I think that'd be kind of a nice alternative postpartum to just having to do the pads. But whatever is the easiest thing. And like I said, we are minimalists, so the least amount of things possible is the best amount of things possible for me. I don't want to buy a ton of stuff every time we have a baby. So this has worked for us. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.